You speak to certain experts, economists, they say that this K-shaped growth or K-shaped economy is the exact matter of concern, where the wealthy are getting wealthier and the poor are getting poorer. And when you juxtapose this with certain reports that show that top corporate houses actually increased their profit or their revenue, as opposed to countless number of job losses. It's just, for the sake of perception, it appears as if those fears are correct. And what happens to the role of the private sector then?
No, I think you're looking at a few months data. I'm not sure about this, but if I look at, there's one thing you have to realize with the private sector. When economy is going well, we are all doing well. That's fine. Some of us make a lot of money. Some of us make less money. But when the economy goes down, the amount of people who lose money, who lose their shirt, have to put in their own savings in the whole business to keep it going, is also there. The private sector is taking the risk associated with the economy going up and down, the market going up and down. Yes, K-shaped, V-shaped, I'm not an economist. I don't want to get into that argument. All I think is we will not be, I think, in a part of the world economy, in a competitive world economy, we will not be able to deliver products and services to India and across the world without a private sector, whether it's a vegetable seller or a large corporate.
Sure. Now, let me ask any of the other panelists, maybe Mr. Panda, you can answer this. This whole concern that yes, policies must help the private sector. We must openly acknowledge the role that the private sector is playing in nation building. But in a time of crisis, when the rich get richer, right, and you must have all seen those reports, and the poor getting poorer with job losses, what sort of responsibility of the private sector are we talking about? How would you respond to this criticism?
In as much as job losses, etc., are concerned, businesses like ours, which are continuous process industries, where we had the exemptions to continue operating through the lockdown and did so, have in fact ensured that we lived up to all our obligations. Now, unfortunately, there are certain sectors like hospitality or tourism which have been affected, and there too, I'm sure that with the passage of time and with some amount of hand-holding, things will get back to normal, and you will see jobs coming back in these areas too.
Sure. Very quickly, Ms. Kidwai as well as Ms. Kamineni.
So I think we have to cut this sector by sector. And what reports show in terms of wealth creation are typically based on market cap and a stock market which has gone quite crazy right now. But in itself, it doesn't necessarily mean there's cash or funds in the individual's hands, unless, of course, they were to sell the stock, which if they are indeed the owners, they're not about to do. But what is critical to recognize is the companies that are doing well are hopefully encouraged by government, encouraged by our economy, which is back on a growth path, to put that money back into capital formation. So I think where we see the money being created, we should keep an eagle eye to make sure that that money is being reinvested back, ensure that it is being reinvested, ensure that it is finding its way back to labor employment, even while we give a helping hand to those that are dead and dying.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Kamineni, you were saying.
So I agree with Naina's point, and you should look at it from what are the dividends that are, because people are not selling that. Market cap is just a number, but what are the dividends that are actually going to be distributed? Then you know that, is there disproportionate wealth or our salaries? And our salaries during this year have really been, everyone has been cutting costs and really tightening their belts. And I want to leave you with one point of I really think why the Prime Minister came out and endorsed the private sector. Not only are we job creators, but he's seen that we actually follow rules. So this whole thing about, corporate social responsibility, you see that we've stepped up into all these commitments. You will find that, this wherever it is in terms of governance, the big companies and, as you say, the wealth creators are not the villains in this picture. And I think it's about time that that we're in a construct of trust rather than in a construct of someone taking the other down.